Ryan Reynolds is now trying to bully the court to try to put financial pressure on Justin Baldoni. You were the ones who started the lawsuit.
Blake Lively's own legal team just flipped the script and exposed both her and Ryan Reynolds after a massive legal scandal they were desperately trying to bury.
Ms. Lively and Mr. Reynolds are now seeking sanctions on the purported ground that certain allegations in their complaint are frivolous.
Blake Lively's legal team has turned the tables, revealing a significant scandal involving both her and Ryan Reynolds that they were eager to conceal. The couple is now pursuing sanctions, claiming that certain allegations in their complaint are frivolous. However, it seems that attorney-client privilege holds little weight when clients are willing to throw their lawyers under the bus to protect their public image.
In fact, it is Mr. Reynolds and Ms. Lively's sanctions motion that are frivolous because you guys are trying to force down a narrative and we are refusing to accept it.
If you treat your lawyer like a disposable item, don't be surprised when they become the sharpest tool in the courtroom. In fact, it is Reynolds and Lively's motion for sanctions that appears frivolous. Mike Gottlieb, their attorney, is not one to play nice or be anyone's legal puppet. He has refused to accept the narrative they are trying to push. The issue arose when Reynolds and Lively's camp attempted to involve him in their troubles by asking him to file sanctions against Justin Baldoni.
And so you don't get to just throw your power around and keep demanding that it's frivolous and to go away and blah, 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 blah. You are so out of touch, it's wild.
Instead of complying, Mike exposed the entire situation. Reynolds and Lively cannot simply wield their influence and demand that the case be dismissed as frivolous. According to insiders, Ryan's team wanted their lawyer to request the court to penalize Baldoni for continuing the lawsuit, not due to a lack of evidence, but because it was inconvenient for them.
You guys started this lawsuit. Let's not forget, you were the ones who started the lawsuit, and Justin's proven fairly that a lot of what your wife is saying didn't seem to happen.
This is what sanctions mean, a legal term for making someone pay and silencing them. If Mike had followed through with that request, he could have faced serious legal repercussions, including disbarment or even jail time. He made it clear to them that this is not how the law operates. They initiated the lawsuit, and Justin has demonstrated that much of what Lively claims did not occur. You cannot weaponize the court to intimidate someone into silence simply because your reputation is at stake.
Now, again, demanding sanctions over the frivolous suit, which is a frivolous request.
The rules do not change just because you are Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively. That may work on social media, but not in a federal courtroom. Now, their demand for sanctions over what they deem a frivolous suit is itself a frivolous request. This is why Mike Gottlieb's name is now at the center of this scandal.
He's drowning the court yet again with more high-profile demands to go away. Ryan Reynolds has had enough of these utterly frivolous. I mean, I feel like I've read this story 4 times already.
Instead of covering for Blake and Ryan, he has exposed their attempts to manipulate the situation. He told them, "If you want someone who will commit legal suicide to protect your reputation, find another fool." He refused to be that person.
But Justin's defending himself, so it's different for me. You're constantly out there trying to say, no, we're victims. Believe us, we're victims. This is absolutely ridiculous. Talk about frivolous.
Ryan Reynolds has had enough of these baseless claims. It feels like this story has been repeated multiple times already. His team sought to file for monetary sanctions against Baldoni, essentially asking the court to impose hefty financial penalties for supposedly wasting the court's time. However, Justin is defending himself, which changes the dynamics significantly. While Ryan's camp insists they are victims, the reality is that we are still in the discovery phase, where evidence is being gathered.
The Wayfarer party's complaint contains substantial factual allegations supported by a mountain of evidence. We anticipate that the court will agree, and they will.
Ryan's team wanted to bypass this crucial step. No discovery, no facts, just silence. This is not a legal argument. It is a tantrum. Mike Gottlieb recognized this immediately.
Now, you got to understand, Ryan Reynolds has a very lucrative deal through Fox, through everything that he's in bed with them. They can't afford to cut him loose. but they can have a talk and tell him, Ryan, this is not good.
What Ryan was attempting to do was to financially cripple Baldoni before he even had a chance to defend himself properly. This is a classic tactic employed by the wealthy. Drain your opponent's resources until they can no longer continue.
But Ryan seems to be so stubborn and aggressively trying to prove the proof is out there, and I don't know what this man is thinking.
Mike called it what it is, a manipulative power play disguised as legal strategy. The allegations in the Wayfair Party's complaint are substantial and backed by a wealth of evidence, and we expect the court to agree. If Mike had submitted the sanctions request knowing it was legally unfounded,
Bob Iger himself and Disney have been trying to get Ryan Reynolds to drop this nonsense. Just like Taylor Swift, just like everybody else involved, nobody wants to be involved in this.
he could face charges for abuse of process or obstruction. This situation is serious. Ryan Reynolds is not just battling a lawsuit. He is fighting for the last significant contract of his career. He has a lucrative deal with Fox, and while they cannot afford to cut him loose, they can certainly express their concerns.
A lot of folks are over this "It Ends With Us" lawsuit, and they want it to stop. And one of those people I hear now from multiple sources is Bob Iger himself, the CEO of Disney.
Behind all the legal drama and PR chaos lies a harsh reality. Ryan has only one major deal left with Disney due to the Fox merger. If he mishandles this, it could be the end of his career. No more multi-million-dollar Marvel paychecks, no more Deadpool, and no more brand empire, just a tarnished public image. Ryan seems stubbornly determined to prove his innocence, but the situation is precarious. Disney cannot directly sever ties with him yet, as his contract is locked in from before the scandal erupted.
Nobody wants to be involved in this. And now they've put on a brave face. They have made it clear they're not going to play nice pool with Justin over these Deadpool requests of getting information from the film.
Bob Iger and Disney have been trying to persuade Ryan to drop this nonsense, just like they have with others involved. However, contracts with companies like Disney often include a morals clause, which means if Ryan does anything to tarnish Disney's image, like getting embroiled in a legal mess involving alleged blackmail and defamation, they can terminate his contract regardless of the financial implications. Bob Iger himself is reportedly furious with Ryan's behavior. This lawsuit is now affecting Disney's reputation, complicating marketing strategies for upcoming projects like Deadpool 3.
But it's just as right. This is all absolutely valid. This is not frivolous. He is demanding that they hold on to these documents so that he can do his discovery to figure it out. That's what the case is for, Ryan. You don't get to just throw your power around and keep demanding that it's frivolous and to go away and you are so out of touch, it's wild.
For a company that thrives on pristine billion-dollar brands, this situation is toxic. Bob Iger has sent a clear message to Ryan. Step out of the spotlight, drop the drama, and stay in line, or risk losing your place in the Marvel universe. While they cannot yet cut him loose without causing legal issues, they can isolate him and ensure that no new contracts come his way. It's akin to a quiet cancellation. He may still have a seat at the table, but no one is inviting him to dinner.
And meanwhile, Justin's out there feeling the financial weight. Now, to be fair, I'll call this out for what I see it is. To me, I believe this. I'm not trying to deny that he's not suffering, because he is. He is. Make it clear. But this also conveniently is showing damages.
Meanwhile, Justin is feeling the financial strain. To be fair, he is suffering, but Ryan continues to push forward. If he admits any wrongdoing or backs down, he risks losing control of the narrative. Ryan Reynolds is not just an actor. He is a brand, a walking advertisement for charm and A-list perfection. In his mind, showing any weakness could lead to media frenzy, Disney's panic, and ultimately his disposability.
Let's keep it a buck. The exclusive people source, they're smartly putting stuff out there to remind everybody Justin's not out there at premieres and launching stuff. He's still suffering, and he is.
The public is starting to notice that Ryan's power in Hollywood hinges on maintaining his image as the charming husband and funny guy. If that image crumbles under scandal, he risks losing not just fans, but contracts, endorsements, and his standing with Disney, which does not tolerate damage control. The panic is palpable as Ryan attempts to pressure the court into financially burdening Justin Baldoni to drop what he calls a frivolous lawsuit. Labeling a lawsuit as frivolous before discovery is not a defense. It is an attempt to stifle the courtroom process.
And honestly, good on them. Valid. It's valid. They are trying to keep him in there, keep the story going, but remind everybody of the stress that he's going through, which is real. And honestly, as you even say, but he's a positive guy. And I do think he'll be okay at the end of this. I really do.
Blake Lively's team is now eager to know what the investigation has uncovered. In legal terms, discovery is the phase where both sides gather evidence and testimonies, and Ryan's team is trying to prevent Baldoni from reaching that stage. They want to shut it all down and pretend it never happened. This is not a defense, it is a cover-up. Blake has also declined to participate in any investigation related to the CRD complaint, which raises eyebrows. According to Rule 11 of the Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, any motion filed must be based on fact and law, not personal grievances or PR strategies.
So Brian Freeman did respond. In the latest assault on Mr. Baldoni and other Wayfarer parties, Ms. Lively and Mr. Reynolds are now seeking sanctions on the purported ground that certain allegations in their complaint are frivolous.
If Ryan's motion for sanctions is found to be reckless or intended to harass, both he and his attorney could face sanctions themselves. Blake's reluctance to engage in the investigation, while simultaneously seeking to know what was discovered, raises questions about their motives. Ryan is using the courtroom as a platform to frame Baldoni as someone wasting the court's time, all while trying to keep the details of the case hidden. If there is nothing to hide, why fight so hard to keep everything concealed?
And meanwhile, she's out there launching new hair care lines and calling everything frivolous. I don't see him out there you are a mockery, Blake. This whole thing was a mockery. Your whole inability to accept some bad press shows how thin-skinned you were back in August.
The discovery process is meant to ensure fairness, and courts are generally hesitant to deny it unless there is clear abuse. Ryan's attempts to label the case as baseless before it even begins undermines the due process guaranteed by the Fifth Amendment. Ryan's legal team has been overt in their approach, framing their motion more like a tabloid article than a legal document, accusing Justin of launching a defamation circus and making demands that could financially ruin him. This is not just a legal battle, it is a PR war disguised as a courtroom fight.
So she doesn't want to take part in any of the investigation to find out if she actually has been a victim of SH. But now Blake Lively's team wants to know what this company found out.
Ryan is not seeking justice. He is seeking to control the narrative and ensure that headlines reflect his desired outcome. The irony is that the more Ryan pushes this strategy, the guiltier he appears. If he were innocent, he would allow the discovery process to unfold and prove his case. Instead, he is playing a game of elite sabotage, attempting to silence and intimidate. His legal maneuvers are not coming across as strong or confident. They appear desperate. The public, once loyal, is beginning to turn, questioning the authenticity of Ryan and Blake's carefully curated image. As the lawsuit drags on, whispers about their marriage being more of a business arrangement than a genuine connection are resurfacing. The cracks in their public persona are becoming increasingly visible, and the tension between them is palpable. Ryan's legal moves are not helping his case. They are only amplifying the perception of desperation. The public is no longer afraid of him, and the PR machine that once maintained his flawless image is faltering. In conclusion, this situation is not merely a PR disaster spiraling out of control. It may be the moment when the truth finally catches up with them. The story is far from over, and the implications for both Ryan Reynolds and Blake Lively could be significant. What are your thoughts on this unfolding drama?